All right, Aquarius, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is going to be for January 4th through the 10th of 2016. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to this type of astrology, do check the description down below because the signs are different. All right, Aquarius, so a lot going on astrologically, and as there usually is, a lot of mixed energy. And so a very transformative week, but I'd rather call it a week of shifts and a week of changes. Mercury is going to go retrograde on Tuesday, and followed by Jupiter going retrograde Thursday and Friday, and then on Saturday we have a new moon. And as you can see, there's a lot of aspects going on. So it's a very profound week, but I would sort of encapsulate it as a week of shifts and a week of changes, at least in terms of reflection and maybe going within. You know, we are going to be in the balsamic phase of this leading towards the new moon, so it is a good time to reflect, to go within and see where we want to plant these new seeds. For you specifically, involving maybe networking or groups or your ideals in life in general, this is your house, the 11th house. Anything progressive, anything technological, innovative, how you can give and share, whether it's through your work or otherwise. A lot of new beginnings with this here coming up. So leading into this, here on Tuesday, very important day, going into the rest of the week, Mercury goes station, goes retrograde, and Mercury squaring up to Mars. So it's this kind of pause and really needing this patience as there has been last week in regards to expansion. You know, this is Mars in your, in regards to the deeper aspects of life. You've had Mars in your 8th house, so it's all about this drive, this ambition, really getting serious and asserting yourself in regards to opening up with yourself primarily first. You know, you have that deeper connection with self. You're expressing the truth. Maybe you're sharing the truth. Mars rules your 3rd house of communications. Maybe there's more truth being unfolded and more openness and stuff slowly transpiring through your work or career with Mars ruling your 10th. So you do want to stay very grounded, very patient with it, with that square up to Mercury, especially with any communications, with that self-expression, and again, maybe expressing those deeper avenues of life. So with that, though, it can be very constructive, and you can ground a lot of energies in terms of having your work more meaningful to you, having your communications much more deeper and real. And now with Mercury going retrograde, really reflecting on maybe these groups or these organizations that you've been focused on lately, maybe with this networking or group stuff that you might be a part of. So with this, it's all about being open to seeing it in a new light, be open to rehashing, redoing these specific areas. And like I said, every time Mercury goes retrograde, it's always a reflection of how you express yourself too. You know, so that's a big part of this, and reflecting on what's really meaningful in general. So with that, the same time on Tuesday, Venus will be squaring up to Neptune from your 1st house. So usually with this, comes across as quite benefic, usually. So if you're feeling any kind of, feeling any kind of possibilities, any type of dreams or ideals in general, that's great. There can be a lot of insights coming in this early part of the week, but be very grounded with it, especially when it comes to relationships, when it comes to your personal life, home life maybe, and even your philosophy and worldview. And in many regards with you, you know, because Neptune, your 1st house, is all spiritualizing all of you. So you can have more faith and trust along the life path. And that can be very dreamy. It can be very uplifting this week. So work on it, stay grounded with it. And that's the best way to work with that square. And that's especially involving career. You know, Venus has recently gone into your 10th house, which has been a very serious area for you, at least an area of focus towards this last part of 2015 with Saturn going in here. So it's a good time to work hard on your career, work hard at anything in that big picture on that long term. But this week, enjoy it, and enjoy it in that grounded way with Venus. And maybe even some insights can be coming in about yourself, about what you're capable of, about your goals that can be implemented into that big picture stuff. So that's the early part of the week. And then as the week unfolds, we do have the sun then going over Pluto and squaring up to Uranus around midweek here. So the energy with this is that it's all about change. And it's been a constant change with Pluto and Uranus squaring each other for about the past 3 or 4 years. So this has been all in regards to having a deeper involvement and also releasing old energies in regards to groups or networks, progressive things, your ideals, and also having more freedom with the material avenues of life. You know, because sometimes the money or the material things, even a lot of it, can actually create limitation or not enough of it can create limitation. So it's about finding the healthy balance of that so you can have more freedom in your life in regards to your values and the material aspects. So it's a good week for integrating that in a very patient and grounded way with that square up to Uranus, as well as specifically involving any type of changes with your group stuff, your organizations, and your ideals. And that's a great way to segue into that new moon, because that new moon will be involving that 11th. Now, as we approach it here on Thursday and Friday, excuse me, Jupiter is going to go retrograde, and that's in regards to your 7th house of relationships. So there has been a lot of stuff. Maybe you're learning about relationships over roughly the past 6 months, maybe even opportunities to connect, whether it's romantic or otherwise, but it's all relationships, maybe even business relationships as well. But here it's reflective now for about the next 5 months. Good time to reflect and think about more of your own personal perspective on relationships, your personal view, and even the financial material stuff, since Jupiter rules that 2nd, and those group and organizations. Jupiter rules your 11th as well. So for the next, roughly 5 months, reflecting on what your values are, material and otherwise, reflecting on the group thinks, the organization, specifically involving those one-on-one connections, I would say, with Jupiter in the 7th. And it's all an exciting time because your North Node's about to go into your 7th house to join up with Jupiter. So this early part of the year is a lot of expansion, a lot of seeing what's possible with your life path, and a lot of it specifically involving your one-to-one connections. And for the next 2 years, you're going to have the North Node here in the 2nd. So there's a lot of support, a lot of insight shifting to where it has been very deep and very transformative in terms of your focus and learning for the past 2.5 years, shifts into your 7th of your relationships. So it's usually a pretty good shift, especially from Virgo into Leo like that. So that's going to be, we'll probably feel that towards the end of the week, but that's going to be the whole beginning of this year in many ways. And also as we approach this new moon on Saturday, Venus does conjoin up to your ruler Saturn. So again, feeling good, looking good, perhaps. This is your ruler. So there is that Venus going over here. It can really, accentuate your outward beauty, your enjoyments in life. But again, being very grounded with that, because Venus is going to be still squaring up to Neptune and isn't in the best position here. Is trining Uranus though, but that's a looser aspect. So the most important thing is with your stuff you're building in career or building at work, it can lighten it up a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit more emotion. Maybe there's a little bit more relationship, enjoyment, and expansion happening, since Venus rules your 4th, your 9th, is usually associated with relationships and the material stuff. But it's about taking all that seriously still, but it can really loosen it up, because I think there already has been a lot of serious energy specifically around the career stuff. So then on Saturday, like I said, new moon, new beginnings with those organizations, with your ideals, and it's a good time to plant new seeds. The energies will be low during this time period, but being open to change with Pluto, getting rid of old energies, old unconscious belief systems about your role and what you have to give, whether it's to a community or to the world at large. And with a square up to Uranus, staying nice and grounded and nice and balanced with relationships, I want to say too, because the sun does rule your 7th. So a lot of you might be going through changes with relationships, your perspective on relationships. And again, a lot of that's shifting, right? But being open to change there and liberating, having more freedom in those organizations or with your ideals, but in that slow and steady way, which is that square. All right. So Aquarius, have a great week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all next time.